Here we are with Mr. McMurray, and we are ready to talk about the Jim Dandy Lab. That's a Jim Dandy of a lab. All right, and as you'll notice, there's a picture of Mr. McMurray there, and he is looking up at the top of the gym. Fancy that. So, we want to know how tall it is, the gym. Now, Mr. McMurray could climb to the top and drop a measuring stick down and possibly hurt himself when he falls off the gym. So, we're not doing it that way. We're going to do it indirectly and learn how to do it geometrically, and which will also apply to our vectors here in a minute. Oops. Hang on. I could have sworn I changed that, but okay. Let me scoot that up a little farther. All right. So, the first thing we're going to do is, if Mr. McMurray were to draw a line straight from him to the gym, we're going to get it there yet. All right. We could form a triangle. You may see Mr. McMurray is looking through a protractor up here, and he is looking, whoops, the wrong way. Sorry. He is looking at the top of the gym. It has a protractor with a little straw on it. It's similar to what sailors use, called a sextant, but this is a very cheap version with a straw and a protractor and a weight. But, you know, hey, there we go. We use what we can here. Now, due to the angle, this is not going to look like a complete straight line, so we're going to cheat a little bit and make it straight. But anyhow, that would be that angle there. And there's also an angle here from Mr. McMurray looking through the protractor. See if I can get that a little closer there. All right. And then that also makes an angle. You can't see it until I get down here, but there we go. I'm using light color. All right. So basically, there is an angle here, and if we use what we know about trig, or maybe don't know about trig, we can come up with some stuff here and figure this all out. Okay, so I'm going to type, and I'm going to see if my type is still in white or not. No, it's not. Okay, so we are going to change that to white, maybe. Hang on. Maybe it will not do that. Okay, never mind. No, you did. Okay, well, what do you know? Mr. McMurray did something right. Okay, so, go back to pen for a second. All right, we have an angle here. This angle is theta, which is a 0 with a line through the middle of it. All right, theta. All right, and we know that this angle right here, between the wall and the ground, is a right angle. All right, then that means this side over here across from this is the opposite side, and this over here that touches is the adjacent side. All right, adjacent, that's ADG, believe it or not, J. All right, and this one over here, just for the record, would be the hypotenuse. All right, the hypotenuse. All right, and so using these and the SOHCAHTOA rule. All right, let's do SOHCAHTOA. You hopefully have seen that. Sorry, I just spelled that. SOHCAHTOA rule. All right, we can use that to solve this. And what that is, we need to know what this size is so we can figure out how tall the gymnasium is. All right, and we measure this, how far I was from the thing, then we'll have the adjacent, and then we can use those to figure out the angle here. Well, it turns out that of these three functions, the one that uses the opposite, that is badly spelled, I did not put an O on opposite, but anyhow, opposite over adjacent would be tangent. The other ones you'd have to know the hypotenuse, so we don't know what this angle, the distance of that line up there is, okay? So let's just say, for example, say this distance here, I was 20 feet from the wall. Okay, so we're going to say I'm 20 feet from the wall, and it's still doing that one. Okay, let's try it again. 20 feet from the wall. So we know that this side is 20. All right, we don't know this side, but we can measure the angle. If I measure it with my protractor, and I'm just making up an angle here, so let's say it was 60 degrees. All right. So it was 60, option K, degrees, 60 degrees. All right, so we have 20 feet and 60 degrees. All right. Now, knowing that, we can plug it into the formula. And the formula says tangent of the angle, which we're going to say is 60, okay? All right. Tangent. I don't know why it's doing a little thing there like that, but it is. Okay, so anyhow, tangent of 60, maybe it just does that because it's mathematically inclined, is equal to the opposite, which we do not know, so we're going to say x, divided by the adjacent, which we know is 20 feet. Okay? Now, if we multiply both sides by 20, we end up with 20 times tangent of 60, now it's going to make them even smaller, equals x. So if I were to solve that on my calculator, I would get, let's see, 20 come up. Calculator's not coming up. Ah, there we go. Okay. I'm not sure if this calculator has that, so I guess I won't do it. I'm going to do it on screen. How exciting. Okay, but I can't instead. So we're going to do 20 times tangent of 60, and we get that, and we would get 34.6, okay? And so that would mean that this distance was 34.6 tall. Now, does that tell me how tall it is to the gym? No. That tells me how far it is from right here to the top of the gym. That's from my eye. So I would have to measure from my eye to the floor, which is going to be about 5.5 feet, 5'6", I'm about 5'8", so subtract for a little bit from my forehead down to my eye level. And we could say, so I would take my 34.6, and I would add my height to my eye level, which is going to be about 5.5 for half a foot, 5.5 feet, and I would get somewhere around 40.1 feet. Okay, and that would tell me how tall it was if all those numbers were correct. Okay, and that's basically how we're going to do the worksheet. Okay, now we're also going to do another one where we go back farther. All right, and when I'm farther, guess what's going to happen to the angle? That's right, you guess it. The angle is going to get smaller. Why? Because now I'm doing this angle. Alright, I'm going right here with my pen. Go there on my pen. And I'm going, oops, no, I'm writing there. Okay, I need to get back on pen. Sorry, that would help. Okay, and click, make sure I'm doing the white pen. Alright, we're going to get on there. Now my angle is a little bit different. Okay. Draw it on up there. And it will keep going up there to the roof. Okay. So now I'm going to have a different angle than I had before. Alright. And I'm going to have a different distance. Okay. So my angle this time is going to be smaller because I'm farther away, so it's a flatter angle. But my distance here is going to be bigger, okay? And so that's kind of what we're going to do for this worksheet, okay? Using the data from those 2 points, we're going to put it into the worksheet. So let me give you the data points for this one. For this data, you need to write this down. It is 50.0 feet, okay? The angle that I measured was 60, but there's something we need to keep in mind here. Since I'm using a protractor with a weight hanging down, if it were flat, perfectly flat like this one, then I'm actually taking 90 minus that much because it flat would be 90. So now I tilt it, okay, so I tilted it So now it's at 60 is hanging straight down. Okay, but I went from 90 to 60, so really what I'm going to do is 90 minus 60, and that would give me my angle for this one, which would be, yeah, you can do that math. I'll let you do that. All right, let's look at the other one that we did, that one. Okay, for the other one, the distance is going to be 10 feet away, and the measured angle is going to be 21. So if it went all the way to 21, whoa, that's a really steep one. And so like that. So it's going to be 90 minus 21 to see how much it changed, and then you'll be able to put that answer on your worksheet. All right. Now, let's go look at our worksheet and see how this data will work. Now, getting back to the worksheet, all right, we're going to fill in this. First thing, you have two examples. We did two different things. First one, it's going to have you put your height to eye level. Well, you're not going to have to do that because you have not measured yours and you're not here. So we'll take mine, and that's 5.5 feet, 5'6", or give or take a little bit. All right. And so that will go in this first blank here. All right. And you can also put that over here because on the second example we're going to do is still going to be 5.5 feet. Okay. That's just how it's going to be. Now on the first one, let's say you did the one that had the 60 degrees. You would put the angle you measured right there, which would be 60, so 9 minus 60. And that will give you the angle to the top of the gem, which will go right here. All right, so the one we measured goes here, you subtract it, and you put the answer down here. All right, the distance to the gem would be this number here, how far it was to the gem. One of those was 50, one of those was 10. All right. The height of x will be when you solve, and remember, it's equal to the, the adjacent side, which is the distance here that we measured, times tangent of whatever angle we had will be equal to x, okay? And so you just plug in the angle here. That would be the angle to the top of the gem after you subtract it, and the adjacent length, which is right here, and then that will give you your answer. Now that will give you the height of x. However, on yours, there should be another one here, or actually, maybe not. The height of x is from here to top of the gem down to eye level here. But you need to add 5.5 to that to get how tall the gem actually is. Okay, you'll get an answer for this one, and then you'll do it with the other data that we did for the other angle, and you'll get that answer. When you get these two answers, you will add them together, divide by 2, and that will give you your average height of the gem. All right. Later, we will use percent error and calculate exactly what your grade is to see how close you were to the correct answer, which Mr. McMurray and Pat Sanford helped me, and we did drop a tape measure off the top and found out what the actual answer should be. All right, and so we will see how well you do on that, but give it a good shot. Feel free to look back at the other video if you need to, and or not the other video, but the other page, this one, which was earlier in the thing. Okay, so anyhow, fill out your chart, put your answers in, and send it to me.